Hello and welcome. Everyone's been talking about the digital enterprise, and that's the center point of most conversations at Nasscom this year. Let's understand from Ganesh Natrajan, the man who put the program together, as to whether he achieved, or whether the conference achieved the objectives that it set out to. Let me put the first question. The concept of digital enterprise was born out of certain changes at the customer and the consumer level of the companies that you work with, right? This was all about social, mobility, analytics and cloud. Sure. Right? I'm assuming that by talking about it and having conversations, people are trying to find some common ground about where they stand in this whole journey, or where they have reached in this journey, if they have.
See, I think what happened was that everybody's heard of SMAC, social, mobility, analytics, cloud, and for a long time it was hype. Cloud started becoming a reality, and suddenly we are finding that cloud can be a big challenge if it doesn't become an opportunity. And people are now saying that, look, how does one move towards being excited with new technology, towards saying what is the business application. So our whole purpose of doing a 3-day event on crafting the digital enterprise was to achieve two things. One is to say that, look, where is the business opportunity? And for that we said we will not have service providers talking to service providers, but actually have customers, CEOs, CMOs, thought leaders in the whole digital space to say what is the opportunity. And I think that was more than achieved. We also said, I mean, as a responsible association, we also need to look at what is the implication for a digital India. That when you look at inclusion and what technology can do in financial inclusion, healthcare inclusion, all these areas, and which is what we did on the third day. So I think both were achieved to a very large extent. Obviously, in digital, we are all scratching the surface. There is big opportunity. There is also a question on where is the money for service providers in this value chain, and I think that's a never-ending journey. So I think we've started that. We're very happy with the outcomes of this conference, but there's miles to go before we sleep.
Right. Now, how much of this is applicable in the Indian context, and how much of this is really happening only in the rest of the world?
See, I think in India, I mean, especially in an emerging economy like India, this has enormous significance, you know, because there is enough bandwidth available today, and we have a lot of what we call follow the fiber approaches, that if there is bandwidth, what is the application that can impact the life of the common man? So, for instance, if you look at education, I mean, there is no way even setting up 2,000 new universities will really address the problem of skills and education we have. So it's really what we call MOOC, massive online courses, and that is where technology is required, A, to create, B, to deliver, and then to disseminate. Similarly, healthcare, similarly, financial inclusion. I mean, there are so many people who have no access to banking or other systems. So even the final panel we did, called Reimagining India, was to get in people who are top of the line in healthcare, in financial services, in IT, as well as in consulting, to say what is the India of the future. And we believe India can be completely transformed if we use these technologies and understand what the common man needs and make that happen.
Right. So we talk about transformation at the using IT or IT at the enterprise level, and we talk about that almost every year. But there's something about this period which seems to suggest it's more than just IT transformation. Would that be correct?
I mean, I hate to use cliches, but this is a complete transformation of the way we think.
Okay.
Today, if you look at, I mean, the defining factor was when you have 4 Middle Eastern dictators, you know, literally in 3 months they're out of office. So that kind of showed the world the power of social. Similarly, mobility. I mean, I keep talking about this story where, you know, I was in New York after Thanksgiving and went to this famous favorite shop of mine and was prepared to buy everything in the shop because it was on 60% discount. And suddenly my daughter told me that, look, I mean, if you just walk down the road, by the time we reach Central Park, I'll give you the same goods at maybe 20% less than what you thought it was. And that's, you know, what they call Cyber Monday nowadays. So I'm saying a day is coming when every day will be Cyber Monday. All retailing will be omni-channel. Healthcare will be delivered literally, at least in diagnostics, anywhere in the world by the best doctors in the world. Education by the best professors. So I think this is, we are witnessing some very profound changes. And people who do not realize that the world is changing will probably be left behind. So I think one of our purposes was to encourage 1,600 delegates to our conference to understand what's in it for me, and it's not something that's happening to your neighbor. It's going to change your life, and it better change it positively.
So what's ahead, or what's next?
Ahead is a voyage of discovery. I mean, as somebody was presenting in the conference yesterday, you know, the whole industry itself has gone through multiple changes, and the winners, and there's an old story saying that when the paradigm shifts, everybody is set to zero. And we are actually in digital, we are seeing everybody is at zero. So I think you'll see some small product companies incubated by, you know, very strong maybe academic entrepreneurs. You will see some mid-tier companies, okay, including companies like ours, which are very excited about this space and will succeed. And we will see some of the larger companies who really get it and will take it forward. So I think the industry dynamics are going to change. The customers' expectations are going to change. And I think overall, the places where you will derive profit in the entire customer supply chain, that's going to change.
Any word of caution?
Word of caution, I think there's always tendency to overhype everything, and of course our industry loves to create 3-letter and 4-letter words. SMAC is just one of those. So the word of caution is understand the technology for what they can do and not the excitement they generate. And if you do that and you really look at the real customer benefit or the real social benefit, then I think we will see real money, real capability and real excitement in this whole revolution.
And these are exciting times indeed. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Ganesh.
Sure,
Thank
thanks.
you.